Thank you. Nasim, are you there? Hello? Real quick, we discussed, and let's just test Nasim. Can you say hello, everyone?
Hello.
All right, that works. Technology is unbelievable. As the introduction started, you never know when you're going to find your co-founder. And this mess of wires is kind of like, do I go in and get a co-founder? Do I find this co-founder? What do I use for my roadmap? And one of the things that we're going to talk about are some of those things, trust, and brutally honest, being able to be brutally honest to your co-founder. And one of those things, as I mentioned, finding your co-founder, you never know. And my first co-founder that I met, and I'm going to date myself, found me out of the Yellow Pages. And this co-founder was looking for a piece of equipment, and I was in office automation, so I was selling copiers, and this is my co-founder, my wife. And co-founders are much like marriage in that brutal trust. And one of the things that she taught me early on that I didn't really know that I would apply into a co-foundership was that we got into an argument, and I did the silent treatment. And she says, if you're just going to be silent, there's no reason for us to get married. That told me right there that if you can't communicate effectively and openly and honestly with your co-founder, it's not going to probably work. Okay? Next slide. So moving on, I had this passion one evening, had a client out to dinner, a very nice restaurant in Las Vegas, and all 4 of our phones were dying. And together we all said, let's come up with this great idea. Everyone valets their cars, so why don't we valet their phones? And everyone thought it was a great idea except one of the partners there. And we told him he couldn't then be involved since he thought it was the worst idea ever. We developed this beautiful valet system, as you see here. It was quite interesting. We had our design engineer, you had electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, and so forth. And this was the final product. It weighed about 25 pounds. We took it out to test, and guess what? How many people wanted to valet their phone? Zero. Didn't do enough market research on that one. Next slide. And so what happened is, even though I had this ultimate passion to provide customers with power or consumers with power to make sure everybody's phone stay charged, I ended up with no co-founders because we ran into this end of the road, if you will. And it was quite devastating because we had to put in a lot of money, time, and effort to build the prototype in China. And in 2 years, we basically found that no one was there to valet their phone. And this dissolved not because of mistrust or any of those things, but the willingness to continue. Their passion to continue was gone, and mine was there to continue. Slide. So with that, I said, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way to get people power, and so we came up with a new idea and a new concept and a new device. We rebranded. I found 2 new co-founders, and these co-founders had skills, but as you see here, we really only had 50% of the skills needed to effectively market. Basically, we all had duplicate skills. We had the same skills. And if you go to the next slide. There we all are, happy as could be, thought we were going to take on the world. Everybody said it's such a great idea, they couldn't wait till we had our private jet. But again, with duplicate skills, we were only able to do so much. We took this device to Las Vegas, we branded it for the various large hotels, we got into the MGM Bellagio and the Aria, and we thought, every concierge we talked to said, once you're in one hotel, you'll be in all the others. And that didn't work, and that was because, again, the passion was there for some of us, but not for all of us. And then it became a bit one-sided, where only one of us was taking care of all the business. And so at this point, this was all going on. It's interesting that when I talk about finding your co-founder, there are things going on in the world that you don't even know about, and they could be even parallel to what you're doing. So meanwhile, in another part of the world, Nasim will take it from here.
Hi all, my name is Nasim. So, meanwhile in Moscow, I was developing my company, Tacheta, and it was basically the wireless charge that now getting really buzz and because of iPhone, that they adopt this, to be honest, broken technology, and so this is me in forest, like making the holes in the table, because I signed the restaurant for pilot, and I kind of need to make a hole in the table. And I was training to make this hole to run this pilot, and I didn't have any co-founder. I've been alone, and I was just like proofing the concept, like, will users charge their phones like through the table in the venue? And I got interested. I got potential investors, and with idea. From this moment, the most interesting part of my story, of our story, it starts. So I got one-way ticket to China. I had gestation, my idea, and I had software team. I had software team that they kind of been my first co-founders. They signed to invest $35,000 in their work, in hours, in developer hours. So with this, I flew to China to find manufacturer for my idea, and spending time in China on this exhibition. I flew to exhibition. I realized while I've been on exhibition that I feel the interest from the people, and I thought, what if I don't return and I find investors here? And because early on in Russia, I realized that this is extremely, when you do something new technology, it's extremely important to have big enough market of early adapters. And Russian market, Eastern European market is not big. And obviously, the early adapters, also the market of early adapters is not big, and the biggest one is USA, the strongest consumer power. So my focus changed, and I see this feedback from factories. They have muscles, but they don't have much ideas. And I pitch my ideas. I pick some around 50 factories on the exhibition. And every day I meet around 5-7 factories, and I got the guy who believed in my idea and who invests. It's kind of crazy. It's 2 weeks after my arrival to China, and this is Steve on the right side. And so he agreed to invest, but the idea changed from Tacheta, that it means it started in July, to Sputnik, which is a little bit different. It's like I stopped believing in wireless charge, because you want to move your phone and wireless charge is extremely slow. Restaurants don't allow you to make holes in their tables, and also each table need power supply. Just imagine that, for example, if restaurant have around 50 tables, each table need power supply to this wire, because this wireless charging need power from somewhere. So it's kind of tricky idea. So I gave up on this 2 years ago, and we start Sputnik, and here starts the interesting part. This is Oyvind. This is Oyvind. It's a Danish designer. I don't know, are you familiar with Bengal Olufsen? This is the A9 speaker. This is his design. This is Swirl. This is his lamp, also his design. This lamp's also his design. And why I'm mentioning him? Because while I've been in China, it appears that their exhibition, Design Expo, and Danish government bring their designers to China to collaborate. And I go with Steve to this exhibition, and I met Oyvind, and I didn't know who he is, and it appears that later that he's kind of star. And I see this laptop and I realize this is the guy that I want. Because this guy, he thinks completely different, and I need somebody who will make the design of the power banks of batteries completely different. Not he will think it from scratch. So, and like people ask me how it was, like it was basically like this picture, like we met immediate. I fall in love. I said I want to meet with you immediately today. It was we're both in China. We're both foreigner in China, and he said okay. We met after this. We bring him to the factory. We talked with him, and I was putting competition for a lot of companies want to contribute with him. I later just realized that he's kind of star, and it was funny. The last meeting when he commit was in the office of the company who also want to collaborate with him. It was a little bit awkward. So he agreed. We start work, and I got two co-founders, like Oyvind and Steve. And I mentioned only one. Later, I will tell you why. So we had 70% skills. So 30% what we didn't have was mostly the business and America. We had everything that we had was like technical. We know the market. We know what user need. But we didn't have anybody in USA. I mean, it's kind of dangerous because it's our market and we don't know our market. And nobody from our team is from USA. So it was really, really big blind spot.
Nasim, real quick. So you notice on that time frame in 2015, this was November 2015 when he had got together with Oyvind and also had increased his skill set. And at the same time, I'm in Las Vegas here in the United States, and I'm validating a concept that mobile power can be shared and people will pay for mobile power. And this is what Nasim is about to embark on, right? And we don't even know each other. I don't even know if he even is alive. Go ahead.
Yeah. So after months after our meeting, Oyvind, this is the first design of Supernova. The Mark has one of like the prototype. And this is the first design, and so this is one on the back side is prototype, and so those are the first early the prototypes, and we together finished the prototypes, all the materials, and we flew to CES in Las Vegas. Oyvind from Denmark, me and Steve from China, we flew to CES in January 2016, and so this is our booth. And this was our team at that moment, and we got a lot of good feedback. And this was first touch of market. We met actual Americans, so real like not in theory. And we got really good feedback. And so moving on. After return, we start making it, and so. Oyvind thought that Sputnik, the people can associate Sputnik name with Putin. I don't know how he said this, but it was funny, and he suggests us to change. I mean, he suggests name Juize, and like we picked the name Juize.
Hang on, Nasim. We lost your video or your audio. Check. This is the problem with engaging business with a Russian.
He mentioned Putin's name.
Can you hear us now?
I think not.
I can hear you.
All right, keep going. Continue.
So this is one of the first, like, this is how we thought it was so beautiful and simple to make it. But it was extremely hard. So this is the area where I spent 8 months, industrial area in Shenzhen, China, and while making this prototype, I spent like around like from from February 2016 to August, I was working and to make this beautiful design real. And this is Eugen, like picking the pictures. He came to China, and this is the first pictures. And all these people, I think it's important to show all these people, because it's incredible. Like you should understand that these people, I am foreigner in completely unknown territory. They are strangers for me, I'm stranger for them. We barely understand each other. We all are. We know each other for a few months, and we work incredibly hard. I never worked so hard in my life how I worked this 2 years, and I work constantly with strangers. I don't know these people, like I know them mostly like, I don't know, few weeks, and they are completely from different culture. So the challenge here is how to boost and how to gain this trust between each other. And later I want to share later on I will share the lesson that I learned. So this is like
Nasim, right here, what they're doing is they have decided to take this concept back to California, back to Los Angeles, to a restaurant show that is about to occur in August. And they already had their flights.
Mark,
go ahead.
Mark. May I say, so it was crazy. I mean, regarding this expo, I mean, we failed all deadlines, and I just like we purchased this exhibition, the booth on exhibition, and this was our deadline that we couldn't like fail. And this is like 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. August. I don't remember the date. This is the first burst of super. One of them is on Mark's hands. It was incredibly hard. After this, we flew to USA, and this is Los Angeles. It was hospitality show, like focused like restaurant, hotels, and so it's in time frame. It's like 9 months from moment I flew from Moscow just with idea. I just want to make it like I just want to point this that it's like I am in Los Angeles. We did this design. It works, and I didn't know when I arrived to China. I don't have any co-founder, anybody, and the level of this trust when you have this extreme situation, it's just unbelievable. Even thinking back while I was making this presentation and remembering all these moments, it's kind of unbelievable, and we will go into this more. So, and what magic that happened with me is the least thing that I expect or think about it was like relationships, world, and I mean I stay in Airbnb, and my Airbnb host became like my love, and she visited me in Russia, she visited me in China, and this is an amazing story, because it was really unexpected, and after she's from Los Angeles, so and after this I go to Silicon Valley, like fundraising, and I failed it because the investor, I kind of, to be honest, I'm extremely disappointed in Silicon Valley.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
But one thing did come out good in Silicon Valley, right, Nasim?
Yeah, I mean, guys, why am I disappointed? Because, it's like the image of Silicon Valley for me, it's like, there are a lot of VCs, right, and a lot of competition for this money, like for this investment, and yes, of course, you should have like some technology behind it. If you have some boring thing, like it's easy to copy or something, this is what they thought about like our product, or it's like hard to scale, blah blah blah, thousand reasons. I mean, but like when I tell them my story, I was thinking, really, I was considered that like I will find somebody who will see me and people who is with me, that these guys, they are like nuts. If they go so far, it's a crazy story. They will simply do this. And I didn't find anybody. I totally disappointed in Silicon Valley, and I meet a lot of people there, really a lot. And it's, I don't know, I mean, yeah, it's like it didn't work out, and I go back to China. I failed, and I didn't fail because of this. This is success. And I flew back to China, and so why I have two pictures here? Why I don't have Steve? Because Steve, he was like while even I was working, and I was alone in China, all these differences and like extremely limited budget, and he were not like, let's say this, I didn't know that he will pay next month for project. I was working so hard, and I didn't know when it will end. I just know that I should not stop. So, but when I returned from US, he stopped. He said, like for 3 days he ignored me, and I'm like, okay, what? And he were like kind of annoyedly, he told me that I will not continue to like invest in Juize. So situation was like, I'm in China with $500 and with Supernova station. And this is real. This is like November 2016, and this is like all this 8 months in this industrial area of Shenzhen. This is, I mean, all this adventure. It kind of ends now here, and I wanna point from this moment the lesson that I learned, and I want to share with you. So you should have similar core values and goals with the people that you want to work, because the biggest problem with Steve was size of potential conflict is proportional to size of the difference between core values and goals. We had completely different goals and core values. I spent with this dude 8 months in one room. We barely talked. 8 months. And I mean, I tried, and it's just, his goal was simply money. I had bigger picture, and I couldn't, and it didn't work. First, similar core values and goals. And like size of potential conflict is proportional to size of difference between core values and goals. This is like axiom. So number 2, keep your ego under check. Because if you want good people to work with you, strong people, you should keep your ego under check, because like ego is a big problem, big issue. So to be honest, the best people, best professionals that I met are the most humble ones. The most humble ones are those who don't have problem with ego. I mean, and they are like, they really do. So, and here are the 4 main principles to fast realize who is who. I mean, I have to, because I travel from country where I spent 25 years to new country, and I need to very fast develop like network and trust. So here is what I did, like how I did this. I trust from beginning, not opposite way. You don't need to gain trust. I trust you from start, and only you can make me stop trust you. Second is brutal honesty, just brutal honesty. And third, move person out of his or her comfort zone. Share some extreme situation with person and observe how he, she behaves. Not like, this like like coffee, like meeting or like a cup of coffee. Let's go to hike. Let's go to hike. Let's overcome some barrier. And when you see how person overcome even small barrier, it will tell you so much. It's you know, for example, Steve was the nicest guy at start, the nicest guy, and it became nightmare in the end. When any barrier was so painful with him, and I could learn it very fast if I do this. So and constant communication, of course, constant communication. I mean, we even like joke sometimes with Mark. We know each other a year, and it feels like we know each other 20 years. We talk with each other every day, 1 hour minimum, 1 hour. It is extremely important for developing those relationships. So, Mark, your part.
Yes. So, thank you, Nasim. Thank you very much. He's not done yet. And at this point in time, we still don't even know each other, right? And that's what's still amazing is and Nasim and I obviously a little different in age. I'm 53, he's 28. So you never know who your co-founder is going to be. Age is not a barrier, right? To have the young mind involved in for the older guy, it has completed the circle.
You are young, Mark. You are young.
Thank you. So Nasim did pick up, other than a lovely lady in Los Angeles, when he was in Silicon Valley, he met a tremendous electrical engineer who is now also on our team and part of the Juize organization. But I didn't know him, didn't know Nasim, didn't know Oyvind. I'm still chugging along here with a stay charge, thinking that I'm going to just make millions in Las Vegas developing this. And we ran into obstacles, and what created problems with our solution. We gained a lot of data. And the problem then became that when we actually met, there was a conflict here with our skill sets. And again, the 3 guys that you saw in the picture, we all came from sales backgrounds. And people that have been here in the past, there was a gentleman here with a cancer drug a couple weeks ago doing the coffee meetup, and he talked about them all being scientists, and they had no one to market. And this was the disconnection. It didn't complete the circle. And at this point, I didn't have a completed circle with Stay Charged, and I didn't know that Nasim didn't have a completed circle. And again, because of the potential conflict of overlapping skills. Next slide. And this is the room that Nasim spent a lot of time in for 8 months, as he was just talking about with Steve, that he didn't talk for 8 to 9 months with this guy. And unfortunately, that kind of goes back to the silent treatment that I gave my wife, and she slapped me around and said, listen, we can't have a relationship without communication. Slide.
So yeah, it's from this moment. So it was November, $500 China, and so this is how exactly December. This is exactly me at that moment, and June, and I had dilemma. I really had dilemma, like like what to do, because like I'm in China. I want to do this to USA, but here is the problem. I have $500. So so trust your instincts. I had supplier. We had supplier, and you can see the component on the station and on the battery later. It's a charger magnet pin from Korea. And they called me, and they've been in China, and they want to meet me. And I'm like, what is the point to meet them? I mean, they won't negotiate the price. I'm like, negotiate which price for what? But I go to the meeting, and it's appeared that like the CEO of this company was on this dinner, and he kind of been impressed by story, I guess, and he invited me to Korea. He said, I will pay all expense, come to Korea. And after 2 days, I went to Korea, and I didn't know why, but I fly to Korea to share like my vision about like Juize and about, I mean, he said maybe potential investment. So anyway, After a few days here, I arrived to Korea. Just arrived from USA to China, now from China to Korea. And so I had this crazy idea that I pitched them that like make our station branded with Star Wars, like, you know, and make a co-branding with Disney and just sell it to consumer market. And they believed in this part. It was, you should understand, it was total mess. It was like I was trying to survive, right, at that moment, and survive Juize. So, and they believed in this weird idea, and they said, we will give you money. And I said, okay, okay. And also, I got a free booth on CES, like for startups, and which was also nice. And I said, okay, it's a signal from like universe, and I borrowed money from my friend, and I flew to Las Vegas again, and here we start the current story. I fly to Las Vegas, and boom, I met Mark, and from here, so from that moment, so we had a guy, like we knew the same guy, and he introduced us to each other. And
he was the supplier.
Yeah,
he was the supplier of our form factor, our power bank that we were using. And he sent me an email in November, and he sent me a package that contained the literature from Juize. And I literally opened it up, and I thought my computer had been hacked. I mean, and not even knowing this guy was from Russia yet, I was like, how the heck did he get the same idea that we have here? And then it came to me, it's like, he didn't hack my computer. It's such a great idea. There's got to be someone else in the world that had it. And this is the guy that had it. And I saw his software component, and I said, this guy he's a year ahead of us. And he's got an unbelievable idea. And so we collaborated from February, March, April. And Nasim jumped back on a plane, went back to China, has been there ever since. We had to completely redesign the station because of the knowledge that we had gained related to the shareable power concept. And we had to take this.
We simply, Mark, may I say, we simply now have complete skill set. We have 100%. We have, I mean, you saw the experience of Mark, and I explained my experience, and I spent time in China, like on motherland of all chargers. I think we are in 5% of people who are the best in this, like, who know like this problem like nobody knows, and we are now together. Just see timeline. We had 4 companies before we together became Juize, and it's actually kind of unbelievable.
And it's a Cinderella story to some extent. And there's been people on this stage that have had companies that they've taken them to, you know, that unicorn status, the $1 billion status, the multi-million-dollar status. The difference in our Cinderella story right now is we have nothing yet. And we're still validating our concept. And you know what? We may end up taking all our toys and going home at some point, but we're not going to stop until we validate this research that we've done to this point, and whether or not our concept is usable and useful. And we circle the globe with an unbelievable team. I've yet to meet Oyvind in person, but we've spoken via Skype and the likes. And you know, the passion that we have here and the way that we came about meeting each other is a story that we just wanted to share because I think it has some inspiration to it.
Mark,
go ahead.
Mark, may I say something? I want to give compliment to Mark because guys in Silicon Valley didn't have balls to believe me. And Mark, I mean, I'm not joking. Mark, I really was thinking, I know there are some dude that will understand me, and I really find him, and it is Mark. And I just want to say that this, like, Mark deserves, like, respect to be so brave, and in this, like, uncertain and this destructive time of this, like media, political propaganda going on, investing in Russian, you know, and getting co-founder for like Russian, And with all this propaganda that is going on, this story it's worth to share, and I think like it's important to share because it's a story when people from different countries with idea just meet each other and became a team, and you see the result of people they don't know each other. We met like few weeks ago, or I don't know, whatever, and we come up and we have Supernova that it's a monument for trust. Supernova that Mark has now is a monument for trust because all the people who work for me, nobody get paid. Nobody get paid. It was all pure passion and trust. And not because I don't get paid. It was just like we were a startup, and this is it. This is what I want to say.
Thank you very much, Nasim. And thanks everyone. I mean, we've had
Thank you, Mark and Nasim. This is a really actually interesting story that I resonate with. I've met my co-founder, and maybe some of you in the audience have also met your co-founders that maybe met somewhere in Los Angeles or somewhere in California in the United States, but then went back to their respective countries and have been forming and galvanizing that partnership ever since. And I love it when great tech and engineering meets great ideas, innovation, and marketing, because that is the perfect solution. And having a co-founder that complements your weaknesses is the most important thing. Because having, as we were talking about earlier, having two people that have the same skill sets is probably just going to be a clash of opinion. Anyway, we're going to open up to Q&A. We have about 5-6 minutes. So if you guys have questions, raise your hand. John will walk around with the mic. Let's try to keep this brief.
Okay, congratulations, Nasim and Mark.
Thank you.
I actually just back from Sutton 2 weeks ago for my business trip, so I'm going back next month. Maybe I will see you, say hello to you. Congratulations. Questions. And when was the aha moment that you believe that what you're doing is going to be work? I saw your stuff before, and then that's very great. And then when was also your aha moment come up?
So the aha moment initially was, when we were having dinner in Las Vegas, and I asked the waiter, can you not charge my phone? I'm about to spend $700 on dinner for 4 people, and you got to be able to do this for me. And that was the aha moment that there should be a way for us all to be able to get power. Nasim, when was your aha moment?
My aha moment, I'm lazy and I forget sometimes to charge my phone. A lot of times. Really, no, this is true. And I'm always on the go. This is my lifestyle, and as you see from my shows, and it's so hard to find charger. And you need to have adapter. And this is how my adapter looks like. Look at this. It has all kinds of it's crazy. So it's ridiculous. And I realized that there should be some solution. And it's like it's basically what we're doing like water. We just water for your phone, because your phone is not anymore a phone. It's a remote control of your life. It's your key, your money. I don't use cash in China. I pay for everything by which I pay. One day, when I realized how important this phone, I had 1% and no cash. At that moment, I realized that Juize is really let's say it's like aha moment number 20. And and I mean, we're doing obvious things. We're really doing obvious things, and we just put it in an extremely beautiful bottle, this water, and we are thinking of like how the best way and best convenient way of distribute this water to you, because all of you are our customers, because all of you have phone. So So
Next question.
Back here.
Great presentation. My question is, what's next? Are you looking for investment capital or distribution? What's next for you?
So a combination of two things. We are going to launch a large-scale beta test here in Pasadena. We're going to have, we're manufacturing 100 stations and 1,200 of the electron chargers. We already have about 25 venues that are willing to participate. So right now that's what we're really looking for, are venues that are willing to participate. It doesn't cost them anything. and we share in the revenue. We have a nice plan. Once we have that data, we do want to go to investors because that's what they've all told us up to this date. Show us that it works.
Traction. I hate this word, traction. They need traction. And to be honest, we also have a plan to run this. Try to run this without investors because, I mean, it's you always. I mean, the lesson that I learned in that dark December was you should have a plan B, and plan C, and plan D. And relaying and thinking that investors will give us money, it's like it's naive. And we have a plan how to actually start to make revenue right away. So yeah.
Over here. Last question.
Given that you're an international team, what are the best collaboration and communication tools that you like using?
Great question.
May I answer?
Yes. Do it.
Yes. So the best communication tool is humans.
This is true.
And I try.
Say again. You stopped for a second. You froze. Say again.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So you should, if you have international team, you should have one person who will be like, center that will connect everybody. There are a lot of tools like Slack, Zoom that we're using now, Skype, emails, WeChat. Like for China, you should have WeChat because firewall and. Zoom still works actually, what else? I think it's more about you should have somebody in team who is in charge of communication. In our team, it's me. It's because all communication are like they go. I'm like this, in the old days the communicator that like she connects like the wires. So this is me, and. You really need this person. I think that people too much rely on these tools. They are just tools, and you should have one person in the team who will be in charge of communications.
Absolutely, and Nasim has done a phenomenal job in doing this because of the time differences. We have developers everywhere in the world. The electrical engineer himself, me. It is really a nightmare, I think, to be able to manage this, and he's done an unbelievable job. And when he refers to the human communication, this has been such a challenge in China to communicate, because when they look you in the eye and they say they understand, they really don't. And it takes over communication, right, Nasim?
Yeah, we lost around 2 months because of misunderstandings. Yeah, it's challenging, and if you should be extremely clear. Let's say this, and it's not only about China; it's about everywhere. You should be extremely. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Actually, we don't have time for any more questions, but if you guys would like to share something, Mark, will you hang out with us for a little bit afterwards? Okay, cool. So if you have other questions, or if you'd like to share your co-founder story, please stick around for that. So thank you again for Mark and his co-founder Nasim. More applause there.